Hello, everybody. Welcome to CES 2019's Trillium Thought Leadership Forum. I'd like to kindly introduce to you all Mr. Zoran Kehler, Trillium Secure's Head of Global Sales. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So what I'm going to cover is a small overview why you can't get anywhere without having trusted data to support your mobility. Mobility as a service is a big thing these days. It is a direction that the automotive industry is taken, as well as a number of third-party companies entering that business. If you think of your Uber, your Lyft, or any other company like that, that is mobility as a service. Mobility as a service is also the ability to create an itinerary where you will be traveling from your home someplace, let's say abroad, and the system will come up with a solution for you with a combination of scheduled, shared, and individual transportation for you. So that is kind of the ultimate goal. So how did we get to the point where people are even considering mobility? What is the implication of mobility as a service and sharing the means and the systems to support that? I'd like to start with a dramatic statement that says all connected vehicles, all connected objects of any kind can be hacked. As we like to say internally, connected vehicles are a platform that is on fire, and you want to jump off of that particular platform and have something safe. If you look at what's been happening over the last few years, even at the level of Fox News, right, which is not exactly a credible news source, you were able to see information about Jeep Cherokee being hacked in, about people nicking whole neighborhood worth of cars just by doing a man-in-the-middle attack on your remote key fob. There are more complicated cases like that. So the slide that you have above me is kind of left to right chronology of things that have been happening. So the attack on that Jeep Cherokee, which brought disgrace and probably $100+ million in expenses to FCA, the automobile manufacturer, probably started as an exercise in engineering. All the interfaces in a vehicle like that, all the wireless interfaces, they are very well known. You can break into Wi-Fi, you can break through the USB port, you can break through the diagnostics port on the vehicle. And these particular guys, researchers, utilized Wi-Fi and a known issue with Wi-Fi to get into the vehicle, take control of the critical systems in the vehicle, and then make the vehicle behave the way they wanted it to behave. As at a level of detail, they were able to change the software in one of the controllers in the vehicle, typically a not critical component, let's say a window lifter. You then tell that little box that controls your windows to send a signal to another controller and update its software. That other controller, by the way, was the steering system. Jeep was using steering by wire. No mechanics, right? Steering by wire. You tilt the wheel to the left, there is a signal that travels over the wire, sends the command to the actuator moves the wheels to the left. So they did that with braking, they did it with the accelerator, and they were able to steer that Jeep off the road without hitting anybody, but it was a pure demonstration of power, demonstration of force. If you look at the other examples that we have over here, you know that Tesla has been very boastful about their capabilities and the resistance that they have on this type of attacks. Well, what do you know? A Chinese research company, again, hacked Tesla several times in a row. And at least one of those attacks was conducted by going through Tesla's corporate network. Because when you go through a corporate network, the vehicle assumed you're a legit visitor to the vehicle, so to speak. And there was no checks and balances performed. They were able to get into the vehicle, and I don't remember, they certainly didn't drive it off the road, but I think they affected the battery charging, they affected the air conditioner, etc., etc. Again, a show of force that demonstrated that that can be done. Mind you, Tesla at that time was the most advanced manufacturer in that sense. So it is all over the map. The point is, breaking physical security of the vehicle has been an old sport by now for several years, and you have to equate safety with security, right? If you can demonstrate that the vehicle can be penetrated into either at the logical level and not even at a harm to property and persons level, it is still a huge risk. Put yourselves in the shoes of an automobile manufacturer. To have an even naive recall for a million-plus population of vehicles can easily cost you $100+ for each one of those vehicles, and may involve not an over-the-air update of the software in the vehicle. It may require a visit to the shop, simply because the automobile manufacturers are not all equipped to handle an update over the air. So that was me provoking a little bit of fear right there. So what we have today, for the most part, is you can call it Mobility Platform 1.0. The vehicle on the left-hand side of the slide, you will see that it has a number of interfaces to the outside world. What is it? What are those interfaces? What am I talking about? So take a look at an even, kind of a middle market, even lower end of the middle market vehicle, a sedan like a Camry or any kind of a Hyundai or whatever. It will typically have 5, 6, a dozen maybe wireless interfaces in and out of the vehicle. Wireless interfaces are everything from satellite radio, for example, with a downstream of traffic information. It can be a Wi-Fi access point. It is your regular mobile broadband connection through which you get updates for the software, and through which, for example, you do the manufacturer does the simplest things. So anyway, there is a dozen of those, and some of them are very known to have really low barrier to entry. Let's say that dedicated hackers, manage to penetrate a vehicle using a tire pressure monitoring system, right? Who would have thought, right? The whole thing is get on the inside, send your software to a receptive node on the vehicle network, and start doing damage from there. So that is the whole point here. Each one of those interfaces may actually present a logical connection between a system you're running in the vehicle and the back office system that is running somewhere in the cloud. Some of them will be checking for your credentials. You will have to log in. It will check your identity, right, either at the cloud side or on the vehicle side. But there are others that just assume that by unlocking the vehicle, starting the vehicle belongs to you, right? And you can do whatever you want with it. Those are the vulnerable systems. So let's say some of those systems may represent the vehicle transmitting its location, its speed, and other telemetry information to the car manufacturer. Some of those systems may be streaming like Pandora. It may even be some of the e-commerce systems. Let's say one of the U.S. Car manufacturers has introduced something they called a marketplace into the entertainment stack. In that marketplace, you can order Baskin-Robbins, if you prefer that over Starbucks. That system on its own has to have information about your person and about your means of payment. So that is a payload, that is data that is of value to somebody. If you look at all of those cases where hackers have breach the defenses at a Walmart or any other big retailer or a bank or insurance company or whatever, they're looking for data, right? They're not looking for material property, that they're looking for data. Same case here. Multiple connections into the vehicle are not characterized by trust. They are characterized by convenience. There is convenience, there is utility for connecting the user, improving his experience by getting the data into the vehicle, presenting that data to the some applications, be it convenience or otherwise. But you cannot absolutely trust that data because you are not sure that, one, it hasn't been tampered with, and two, you cannot really assume that it's coming from the vehicle it says it's coming from. So lack of trust, lack of data integrity, and lack of privacy protection negatively impact the ability of anybody monetizing the data from that vehicle. So we hit on the holy grail at this point. It is not about charity, it is not about playing nice, it is not ultimately just about convenience. There is value in the data, and data can be monetized. Some of the analysts, most recently, over the last, I would say, 9 to 12 months, have put the value of that data up to at $1.5 trillion. It sounds like an exaggeration, but just multiply the number of the vehicles by some amount you assume somebody would pay to get access to the data. Take as an example insurance companies. Insurance companies, are one of the oldest businesses around, with the fewest number of the touch points between you as a consumer and the business, and will do anything, one, to continue the growth of the revenues from selling the policies, and on the other hand, they want to adapt to the new ways of transportation, and mobility as a service is one of those new things. So they will pay dearly for the data that shows them how you, the operator of that vehicle, or how your company, as the owner of a fleet, what is your safety, what is your driving record, what is your driving frequency, how many miles, how you're driving, how you're braking, because all of those are pieces of data that drive the creation of the policy and ultimately mean money for the insurance. Trusted mobility platform and services is what we call Platform 2.0. So we introduce a root of trust in the vehicle. We protect the data from the vehicle into the cloud and present functions through the API and data through the API so that it can be utilized by applications, either by a third party or applications created by Trillium Secure. What is the importance of this? The importance of this is that you can ensure the provenance of the data, you can ensure that the data kept its integrity end to end, right? And you can introduce easy monetization that would allow you to reuse the same piece of data for different end customers, different end users, possibly with different rights. So how are we doing that? We are doing that by introducing blockchain, right, into this whole equation, and smart contracts that support all of that. This does not mean that we are mining for Bitcoin inside the vehicle. No, we are using a very specific version of the distributed ledger called Hyperledger, part of the Ethereum technology, and we create a digital twin of your vehicle in our cloud system that allows us to track not only data utilization, but also the data creation, right? It's as if anything that happens in the vehicle is reflected in the cloud. We can control it, right? Same piece of the data is immutable, it is encrypted, and it can be deleted, it can be terminated, as well as it can be generated and consumed. The benefits from the trusted mobility platform and the services that we are running on top of that platform are for the individual, right, for the industry, and for the society. Why, how does society benefit? Society benefits through the ability to track the vehicles as part of the smart cities paradigm, right? It allows you to plan your traffic. It allows you to introduce green initiatives, right? It allows you to direct people towards using mobility as a service, as opposed to investing the money in a physical asset, the vehicle, and even not using public transportation, using shared mobility services instead. How do you as an individual benefit? Data is kept private, right? Without creating, I would say, awkward opt-in decisions at the moment the data is generated, we can help you ensure that the data created by you driving your vehicle or a company driving or utilizing the vehicle stays attached to you as the ultimate user. If we want to monetize it in an additional way, the data will be stripped of identity. It will be anonymized and offered to the marketplace that way. Finally, we help everybody involved in this value chain, from the vehicle owner, vehicle manufacturer, insurance company, third parties utilizing the data, stay or actually reach compliance and stay compliant with all the privacy regulation that has been created over the last couple of years and which we will be seeing more and more in the countries around the globe. So I hope this was a useful overview for you. What is the trust, what is the mobility platform, and how Trillium Secure helps move the whole industry in that direction. Thank you very much.